All right, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for your patience. I'm joined by the one and only Antilev for another episode of the Rundown. This time for the anniversary tour, the controversial. I know this will not be the very last Rundown, but this is the very last episode where we have brand new items introduced. So we'll have brand new items for the very last time together with you, but it won't be our very, very last time. So without further ado, welcome Antilev. How are you doing, sir? What do you think about the tour so far, high level?
Yeah, it's an all cities tour, so those are not my favorite, but this one is actually really cool. I'm enjoying it. We got some really sick new items, so I'm pretty excited about the new items, and I think we're kind of at a stage in the game right now where having an all city start doesn't necessarily hurt them, especially considering what's, coming up next. So exciting tour. A lot of fun tracks to grind. It's interesting that we have a more variety of courses. Normally we're getting like 4 variants of every track, but this tour we're actually getting only 3 variants of every course. So we have more variety, which I really like about the city tours. A lot of times what they do is they'll give you like, Tokyo, all 4 Tokyo blurs, all 4 Tokyo blurred 2s, all 4 Tokyo blurred 4s or something. And then, you have a huge number of tracks which just look all the same, and there's really a nice variety here. A whole bunch of different cities. I think we got Berlin, we got Rome, we got Madrid, we got LA too, even we got Amsterdam, we got Singapore even in there, Sydney. So it's really nice. I think this is the best all city tour we've gotten so far, and it is a fitting final new content tour. They definitely didn't let us down with this one, even if we're kind of uncertain about what's going to happen next.
Yeah. It's bittersweet, but I think they went all out on this tour between additional items given out as rewards, some extra unique items, including this gold Mario. They're going out with a bang. We'll get to all of that in 1 second, but we are streaming, and I literally just drove in from DC, where I was there basically since Wednesday. So I have not been able to play the game as much as I usually have in the first 3 days. So I'll rely a little bit on you on this one, Antilev. But we have a lot to discuss about. There's been some changes to the top 10 to now incorporate a little bit more cities and really start to kind of prepare for this end game that we're embracing for. But I have to, before anything else, give a shout out to the Stud fam, especially those who have been patiently waiting in the lobby. So Leonardo Zappi, King Brian, I see David Vila, Ross Icarus, and let's see, Alfie Dark Deadly. What's going on, man? Pepper Rabbit's out there. Alexa V, Sauna. I see Tyler Burbank celebrating 15 months. Thank you for the support, sir. I see Eva Tacos out there. I see Bennett. What's up, Bennett? Let's see, Beer. What's going on, Beer? How you doing, sir? LXNXR. Hopefully you're doing well, sir. And I think I'm not going to be able to catch up on all the comments. Thank you guys so much for your patience, though. I literally got in the door at 4 o'clock and then went around looking for my charger. So we'll see. Hopefully my computer does not die by the end of the episode. What's going on, Johnson? How you doing, sir? Yeah, guys. All right, cool. I see Rachel J, SM Bros, Zooms. Hopefully you are doing all well. As you can see here, I could not be doing this. I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for the members you see here, the super studs. I see Frenzy Grind, Chris Clark, Larry 98, Issa, Nat, Jeeves, Kareem, Javelin Zhao, and then of course the unicorn stud, one of a kind, Nintenja. So without further ado, let's jump into it, man. I think there's no better way to start this episode than talking about Gold Mario. Now, if you want to watch some just like mind blowingness, literally as it was happening, you can go back and watch the reaction on Wednesday when I opened up the skills, saw Fireball, Fire Flower, and I was like relieved. And I was just like, okay, all right, they're going out a little lackluster. Seems kind of Nintendo. And then got to the news. Found out that we have this like magnet ability, where similar to the Gold Mario for Coin Rush, but not quite as big of a radius, but essentially the same type of vacuum, magnet, whatever you want to call it, ability. It's not a skill, but it's just kind of a built-in accessibility to kind of pull in coins from a pretty decent size. That, when they said that they were going to pull down the radius, it actually is a pretty decent radius. I was actually pretty impressed. We weren't sure what it was going to look like. We heard some rumblings that it was just going to be like basically like you're using a off-roader type of radius, but it's bigger than that. In fact, when you kind of go through, we were kind of looking at the, I think it was Athens Dash or one of the newer tracks. You had this ring with the furry creatures, and we were like, that'd be perfect. If it was like all these coins, and it is. So it's a pretty decent hitbot, pretty decent. I don't even know if you coin bot, or I guess what's the best coin ring, circle, whatever the magnet radius is. It's actually pretty decent. And so we've seen some videos, including one from Manklor that was taken down already, that shows you kind of what this ability was. He got like just a coin frenzy, but then kind of was using the strat where you get an extra item box, and did get like I don't know, is there a great term for boomboxing with this magnet yet?
I mean,
what are we calling it?
Suckbox.
Suckbox.
No, it's.
Well, he got a coin suckbox.
He certainly sucks. No,
but he was able to pull off something like 189 actions, and so in my mind, and he got a couple of these extra boxes. So I think if you got maybe a double coin and maybe a double suck box, you're definitely getting over 200 actions. But here's the thing: you could be using gold charging Magbox. Okay, let us know in the
Magnavox, like the old Magnavox TVs.
Magnavox. Oh, okay. Yeah, let us know in the comments if you have a better idea. We're open to just taking whatever you guys want to call it. Just call it for the rest of the episode. But you could get a double coin, get a double suck box until we hear a better idea. And, certainly get maybe 210 actions. But here's the thing. You can be using on that same track gold charging Chuck. You can get a double coin box frenzy, double single box, which is kind of the standard for the AC action count ceiling for the DKR.exe spreadsheet. And his ceiling is 220. So I think when all things equal, if you're, I think Coinbox and Boomerang are still going to be better than this Suckbox, capability. I'm serious though. I mean, when we think about it, like it is. There are some tracks though that have a lot of coins, and no doubt you can get an extra 8, 10, 12 coins. But still, I still think that Coinbox is still OP. Coinbox is still going to be the preferred skill for many players, all things equal. So if you have a Coinbox, you have Gold Mario. In many cases, all levels and stuff equal, you're going to want to use a Coinbox. Boomerang still has the capabilities to surpass Coinbox, but takes a decent amount more time unless you're getting really lucky. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on this magnet suck skill, and how do you feel? How do you kind of gauging his ability before we get into his coverage?
So we were in voice chat on Sammy when Sammy was doing grind like on Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and we were all discussing this, and everybody just assumed he was going to get Coinbox, and I was thinking, I was like, I don't want to be too much of a doomer, because I was like, I was already saying well, what if he doesn't get any more buffs after the first tour, or we don't get, or like, what if this or that, and I was being kind of like doomerish, but I had a sneaking suspicion they weren't going to give him Coinbox. I didn't know what they were going to give him, and I was thinking, well, Metal Mario is Fire Flower, so they could give him Fire Flower. And I didn't say it, so I can't go back and prove that I was like thinking it at the time. But I was kind of like, what if they just gave him like Fire Flower, or just like whatever, some random skill. And actually, if they gave him Coinbox, it probably would be something where we'd say, okay, this is something we can put kind of on par with Mies, because you have a short track that's like 140, 150 action target with the magnet ability and a Coinbox skill. You could probably say, okay, he's good for like 200 actions on a 140 action track. But okay, he doesn't have that. I think it's going to be like really track dependent. I think it's going to be sort of, hey, you have like some tracks where there's like, they're not even good for Boomerang, but there's like a long line of coins on top of a half pipe or something. I'm thinking like DK Summit. I'm thinking we Rainbow Road. There's that long part with the huge number of coins. You could just ride that total top, and then there's going to be some tracks where there's no track coins at all, and he's basically just going to be it'll be kind of like a little bit better super leaf or whatever. So I think it's going to be really highly track dependent. There's going to be some tracks where he's going to have crazy potential. There's going to be some tracks where he's not going to match a coin box or a boomerang driver. I don't think he's really competition for Mies at this point, but I think it's something we'll also have to see. I know the amount of crazy skilled and talented people who play this game will be able to figure out some crazy strats with him to get some awesome action count scores in the future. So I'm excited to see that, but I think we don't really know, especially since, okay, we've seen the Monkalorth video. Unfortunately, for the people who haven't seen it yet, it's been taken down. But I think you really need to get him and play with it, and we'll figure it out sort of later. I haven't done anything in any of my spreadsheets, models, anything to modify his skill or change him. He's just considered like a regular fire flower driver for now. Excuse me. But I'm sure that will change in the future. At the same time, I would say value-wise, probably similar to a boomerang driver or a medium coin box driver, maybe a light coin box driver, something like that.
Yeah, so no, good points there. We'll figure all that out. Let us know in the chat what track you hope he gets. One of the tracks I thought of is that Calamari Desert 2, where you can like jump over you hit the train at the right spot, and there's like, I don't know, like 20 coins up there in the top right. And it's like, it's one of the hardest like strats to be able to get all those coins. But Mario, I mean, jumping over the train, you could get them pretty easily. So it's like, and that's a really short track. So that's my dream track that he gets. Let us know in the chat if you have a dream track that you hope where he can get extra coins. But other things that might have been figured out while I was in DC, have we, and feel free to jump in the chat too, but have we determined that a bot, Gold Mario, also has this ability, or can we have this ability on the second shelf?
I read that he cannot appear as a bot.
Oh, okay.
But he does have the ability at level 1, so if you would appear as a bot, then you would have it. And about being second shelf driver, it is an innate skill, so I don't see why you wouldn't have it as a second shelf or bottom shelf driver.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let us know if any adjustments that you guys have figured out. But thanks for getting into that. Obviously, there's a lot to discuss about Gold Mario, and I'm sure we'll jump into some of that on Kart Talk. But let's talk about his coverage. Antilev, tell me about Gold Mario. Obviously, he's got this little fire flower, but I think overall we were very, very surprised that he's usable-ish. Again, track dependent, but just based on coverage alone, how's his value start?
Yeah, so this is an all-city tour, and we're also entering a completely different area of Mario Kart. So I'm not going to focus so much on the coverage. I think mainly we want to just look at what ranked tracks the new items are getting. So let's look at starting with 10 tracks. Not a huge amount of overlap in terms of plus skills. Obviously, he's got all cities. And the 3 ranked tracks he's got unfortunately week 1 ranked, which you won't be able to use him in New York Minute 3T, which is an older track, and then the 2 new tracks, Rome Fonte 3 and Sydney Sprint 3 RT at a level 8 unlock, and you'll be able to use those in week 2. So if you get a hold of him in week 1, you will be able to use him in week 2, especially Rome Fonte 3, and looks like it is sort of custom made for Gold Mario with those big coin rings, 17 rings, 17 coins in that big coin ring where he can get them all with his radius. It looks pretty promising for him. But yeah, I mean, I think the big question is, how is it going to go with the buffs in the future? We'll get to this later when we discuss the changes we've made to the top 10 model, to the formula that we use to calculate it. Because there are going to be no more new tracks after this, the value of a brand new item is definitely going to be less, because you expect those newer items to be getting buffed on the new tracks relative to the older items. That's not going to be there anymore. So, where I always say before, if you are deciding between a few different items to upgrade them, always go with the newer one. I think that's not going to be valid anymore. Yeah. That being said, we need to wait and see how his buffing is going to go.
Yeah, I know the algorithm has been predictive in nature, and there's not much more to predict. So, I think from that perspective, we'll see how the meta hits this end game. I do have to give a couple of shout outs. So shout out to Crazy, celebrating 10 months, just bumped up to the stud tier. Happy to have you, Crazy. I know we got some GSG members going for top 10 in this tour, like Luca and even Crazy here in the Halloween coming up here. But I see a lot of people. I can't shout out everybody, but I see Kian, I see N2CJN, Zephyrin. I see a lot of people. Some people commenting on the tracks that they're hoping for. I do have to give a special shout out though to Alberto, who's out in the chat. Today is his birthday, so he was working on putting
Happy birthday, Alberto.
Happy birthday, Alberto. But he was working on these slides on his birthday. A huge shout out so that we'd be able to do this today. So huge shout out to Alberto, an MVP behind the curtain. So everyone wish him a happy birthday. Do that for us. That'd be awesome. But yeah, some other people are shouting out some tracks they'd love to see Gold Mario have, like Singapore 2T and 2RT would be Eva Taco's recommendation. Let's see, we got Brian Kirsten says the Piranha Plant Pipeline would be a great one. Pepper Rabbit reminds us that if we do have him in the spot, just get a new lobby anyway. Which, again, I'm still wondering, can he show up on the second shelf? From what it sounds like, based on Twitter or whatever, it doesn't sound like he can. Zephyrin Y YouTube says Vancouver Velocity 1 would be really awesome during the bridge area. And then, yeah, some other good ones too. So thanks again for letting us know. Feel free to keep commenting what tracks you love Gold Mario to do. But there is another... I don't even know what you want to... It's kind of like this is probably... arguably maybe the biggest troll from Nintendo of all time. They are ending with the very final Mii with a Koopa Clown head Mii. Basically, some people in the community, like Aviquado, shows a good picture of this and just like they're clowning us, like they're calling us a clown, or and I hate Nintendo to think that they're doing that, but in a way, I guess if you're gonna go out laughing, go out with a smile on your face. I don't know. There's got to be a positive spin to this, but many of our people are feeling a little shade is thrown our way with this Koopa Clown as the final Mii instead of Kamek or all the other different type of Miis that we could have had going into this final tour. But jokes aside, pun there, maybe not intended. But let's talk about its coverage.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I think it. Yeah, I get it. Okay, they're trolling us, whatever. But I think it actually looks great. The suit is really cool. The helmet is really cool.
The pajamas.
And it is an iconic Mario universe item. The Koopa Clown thing that Bowser sits in a lot of boss battles. So that sense is really cool. And it has a Bowser shell, which isn't a top 4 skill, but it's a really fun skill to grind with. I have the Dry Bowser Mii suit at level 8 on my main account, and I use it like pretty often. It's really fun. So that being said, looking at the coverage again, starting with 8 tracks, which is on the high side for Mii suits, and that's great. And only one ranked track though, unfortunately. That's Madrid Drive 3 in ranked week 1. And you've only got Ty Daisy and White Tanuki Mara there as top shelves. So if you don't have either of those at a high level, this might be an interesting sort of stopgap for you. And then it's going to come down to, hey, what are we having for future tours and future buffs? Because again, all cities, not really any other new tracks. I see it only has Athens-3R at level 8 unlock. The rest are all older tracks. I'm not sure how much that's going to matter. We didn't really look at whether cities were new or old before. Cities are definitely going to be worth more going forward.
Yeah, why don't we just touch on that now? So what are cities worth? And I think sometimes when we used to look at city tours, we would have seen 8 cities and we'd been like, goodness, I would have rather had 7 so I could get one later. And we did, we certainly have, we've certainly cleared the air that when you're getting cities, it doesn't take away from what could have been a non-city track. But I mean, I think what I do want you to focus on, like, what is a city really worth at this point in time in the game? What can we expect?
So the biggest reason why cities weren't worth much, we had regular city tours and we had regular city tracks, but in the model, when we were assigning weights to all the different track types, we ignored new tracks for a tour. And the logic there is that, hey, looking at the items you have in your inventory, looking at the coverage they have, the tracks they have, what are the likelihood of those tracks reappearing? For new tracks, it's just a crapshoot on what's going to get buffed. So we didn't take those tracks into account. now that we're not going to have new tracks anymore, we went back into the history and decided, okay, actually, we are going to take those into account now because we're assuming it's going to be a similar type of distribution of track type to what we had over for the past, year or so. And so the amount of cities then taken into account for the weightings actually goes up a lot. And also, so there are, I'll hit you with some numbers now. So there are 368 retro and nitro tracks in the game and 178 cities. So there's roughly double the number of retros and nitros that there are cities. So you'd say, okay, there's about a 2/3 chance that a given track will be retro and nitro, and a third chance that it'll be a city if we assume that there's going to be a sort of equal distribution. If we look at the actual history, in the past year, 26 tours, 1,170 tracks, so that's 45 tracks per tour. There's been 792 retros and nitros, 282 cities, 87 battle tracks, and 9 city battle tracks. So that would make you think that a retro nitro is maybe worth about triple what a city is. But again, because we have less cities, it actually works out to that a retro or nitro has about 1.5 times chance to appear in a tour compared to any random city. So, or to put it the other way, a city is worth about 2/3, or has about 2/3 of a chance to appear as a given retro or nitro. So we've changed the weightings. It's not, the cities aren't quite worth 2/3 yet. I posted the new weightings in on Blast, so you can see them next to the rankings. They're just worth slightly over half of what a retro is right now. So you can take that as sort of rule of thumb, and I expect that the number will crawl up slightly, but for right now, we're valuing a city track as worth about half the value as a retro or nitro track, just to give you an idea. Whereas before they were worth maybe anywhere from 1/10 to 1/5. So cities are worth a lot more. Wow. And when we look at the rankings later, you'll see that the city heavy items have sort of increased in their ranking and value compared to other items because of these city tracks gaining more value.
Yeah, I think that sounds extremely fair. Feel free to let us know in the comments. Where this algorithm is the people's algorithm, and obviously, if you have feedback, you have comments, feel free to let us know. We may or may not take it into consideration, but I think as we move into the end game, it'll be interesting to see if we have the Black Grade Sale or other items that are really, really powerful. Sure. In the meta, from past years, kind of come back to be part of the final meta. And certainly, we'll, when we get to that point, which we're still months away from, we'll be able to help break things down and maybe be able to do some really cool thought processes on how to cover all the tracks. And I know already a Turtle Dude's done some pretty cool stuff with Coverage Optimizer to expand it, which is obviously a great tool to use. So, without further ado, let's get into carts. We got this Monarch cart, which looks beautiful. A lot of us were hoping it was going to have a big hitbox. Unfortunately, it's itty bitty teeny tiny compared to what I thought, was going to expect maybe a combo cruiser or something else, kind of, front heavy, big chunky cart. But talk to us a little bit about its size and its starting coverage.
Yeah, so I think it's measured, if I remember correctly, from Rashid, who does these measurements very scientifically. It's a very medium-sized cart, so it's not like a marshmallow or something, but it's definitely disappointing size-wise. We definitely cannot consider it to be a large cart. If I look on the list, I think we had it down somewhere around the bad wagons. If I have that correctly, let me see real quick.
I feel like it was smaller than that.
Even smaller than that. Okay. It's the same size as the a similar size to the Mach 8 cars, and just a bit bigger than the taxis. So that's definitely a medium car. It's coming in at 71% of the size of off-roaders, which are the biggest carts in the game.
Yeah, I think that whether it's our algorithm or the hitbox, it's always compared to the best. That's kind of how we like to do things. So it's good to know.
Just to put everything, in context.
In perspective. Yeah, it's about 70% of the hitbox size of the off-roader. Good to know. Let's keep going. I'm sorry. Did we get? I don't even know if we got into all the coverage though. For the Monarch cart?
No, oh yeah, sorry. No, so yeah, again, most 11 tracks, which is, obviously at this point we're just looking at the number of tracks, and it's the more the better. 3 rank tracks though, which is really nice. Unfortunately, one of those is a level 8 unlock. That's Madrid Drive free. You can use it on Athens Dash 3 at level 1 in week 1, and then in week 2 Rome Avanti 3, also a level 1. Again, I plug this into my tracker and actually covers a lot of tracks for me. I think at like 6 of the tracks, if I put it to level 6 already, it was helping me out. But unfortunately, the size kind of makes it a little bit of a non-factor to me. I raced with it. I bought it and I raced with it, and it didn't feel that small. Okay. So maybe I'm just wrong, but it felt like kind of okay. But it's all personal. It depends on what your sort of tolerance for a small hitbox is or not.
Well, how would you compare the Monarch cart to the Gold Monarch cart? Let's talk about the Gold Monarch coverage and help us determine which one seems to have the better start from just...
Yeah, so one less track, same hitbox. This is the Gold Premium Challenges, by the way. I think it's like $15 or $18, and you get the 42 rubies and 4 gold pipes with it. That's up to you to decide whether it's a good deal or not. These items generally turn out pretty okay. The gold hard hat balloon was another one that kind of wasn't great at the start, but ended up being a pretty good item. This one, I think it looks better than the red one. I really actually like the look of this one. And it's got 4 rank tracks if you take it to level 8. One is a level 8 unlock, one is a level 6 unlock. That's Athens Dash 3 level 6, Rome Avanti 3 at level 8. And then you've got a level 1 New York Minute 3T, which you can use in week 1, and Sydney Sprint 3RT, which you can use in week 2. So 2 week 1 tracks and 2 week 2 tracks. This one's got you covered if you're struggling for carts. Covers 4 rank tracks if you feel like going all in on it.
Yeah, no, it looks cool, no doubt. I think this is definitely one of those. I got it, but I think a lot of people are.
I did too. Yeah.
A lot of people are seeing the end game and saying, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to spend more money on the game now that I know that I don't need all these things that come with it. And you have to decide if that cart really alone is worth it at that point. Because I don't know if we'll see some of these gold premium items coming back at all, unless. And I think sometimes people have said like, oh, we won't see any new we won't have any more commemorative items. We'll still see commemorative items. We'll still see premium challenge stuff. But I think we'll probably see the same ones. Like for instance, there could be a situation where the gold hard hat is only, you can only get it forever in gold premium challenges, and it maybe comes back once a year as a premium challenge during the trick tour, which happens at the same time of year. Or what I mean? That's how I envision they do it. Is they have like these 3 items. One, what is it? 2 carts, one glider or 2 gliders. Either way, just kind of keep these premium challenges like the last of the pay locked items. And just kind of keep it a little bit more obscure and away from the casual player. So I don't foresee it getting into like the gold selections or anything like that. But we'll see what happens going forward. I will say there is one item that I think probably my
most... one thing, sorry. So there's a mistake in the slide. The starting coverage on Gold Monarch cart is actually 12 tracks. There's 2 tracks missing here. It's missing Los Angeles Labs 2T and Athens Dash 3RT, neither of which are in ranked, but that's still a pretty impressive start. I'd never had an item starting with 12 tracks. 11 has been the max before, so that is quite something. So 12 tracks and 4 ranked tracks is pretty impressive, I would say.
Yeah, it's really odd that they're having items with 4 ranked tracks. That's very rare. I'm not sure if it's how many times it's ever happened before, but that's extremely rare. Good point there. I will say I'm still blown away at this awesome cart. The Steelers B Dasher Mark II. You gotta love it, man. It's even got like the yellow and black stripes on the side, similar to what is on the side, the arm sleeves of the Steelers, my favorite football team. So I already saw Sammy took this one to 805. It will one day be 805 in my count as well. I absolutely love the look of it. I don't care if it's got great coverage or not. But for those who would want good coverage, how is it starting for us, Antilev?
Yeah, so 11 tracks. So again, that's quite a good number of tracks to start with. It's got one of the battle tracks, New York Minute B, and 3 ranked tracks. One again is a level 8 unlock. That seems to be a theme that they're going for, giving you ranked tracks, making one of them a level 8 unlock. That's Sydney Sprint 3 RT, the new Sydney Sprint RT. It's also got Amsterdam Drift 3 in ranked week 2 and Madrid Drive 3 in ranked week 1. Those are both available at level 1. Now we all know about the hitbox of Mark IIs. For me, it's the perfect size kart, the way they drive the size, not too big. I off-roaders are fine. I level them up and I use them, but I definitely prefer a slightly smaller kart. I tend to hit walls less and lose my drift less. And for me, the Mark II is the perfect size, a really perfect kart. So, I love them. I think it looks amazing and definitely the best looking kart in this tour and one of the best looking karts in the entire game.
Wow. Okay, so you agree.
It's amazing. I tend to be kind of a hipster and I kind of like to go against the grain, and everybody is kind of all in on this kart, and I can't really disagree with it. I can't really find anything not to like about it. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. It looks so cool. I know some people don't like the bumblebee look to it, but
it looks great. The only thing that is sad about it is that if you're free to play, you can't get it because it's a commemorative. Yeah. But who knows? Hopefully it'll come back. Maybe we'll get a Mark II themed tour where they all come back.
I've been trying to find like a cool name for it. I feel like the Wiz Khalifa B-Dasher Mark II or something like that for the black and yellow. I don't know, man. This looks so beautiful, and I absolutely endorse this kart. If everyone's going in on it, I'm going in on it as well. You can join me. This is such a fun kart. I'm glad they brought it back.
Sammy already took it up to 8 in quad, and I've seen a bunch of other people doing it. Yeah.
Oh man, love it. Let us know if you've already made that investment. I definitely want to make sure that I continue to give those praises and shout outs to those who are getting an early buffing for their early investment there on the Wiz Khalifa B-Dasher Mark II. We got the gold B-Dasher on the other side of it. Less cool looking, but also a B-Dasher. What's your thoughts on starting coverage for our gold B-Dasher kart?
I don't like the B-Dashers. I don't like the way they look, and I especially don't really like it in gold. And the hitbox is okay, but not really great. And you look at the 2 ranked tracks. One's a level 8 unlock, so it's 10 starting tracks and 2 ranked tracks. One is a level 8 unlock, unfortunately, the City Sprint 3 RT, and then the other one is one of the old tracks, the New York Minute 3T. Even the returning track in week 2 ranked, Amsterdam Drift 3 is a newer track. New York Minute 3T out of the 6 ranked tracks is probably the worst one to get. So again, in theme with the Gold Pass gifts, again, we don't know how these items are going to end up, but I actually forgot about it. I forgot it was in the tour, I would say this one has the least chance of being a great kart.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I saw see Dr. J already triple uncapped it today. The Wiz Khalifa B-Dasher Mark II. Brian Kirsten says it was the first one he's ever dropped $4 on. The Gold Dasher is so forgettable. This one here says Eva Taco. So I'm with you, man. I think we're all burnt out on the gold items, and that's why we're so stoked when we see awesome items like these. Let's talk about the glider, the Royal Flush, which for gliders, I like to I rarely take something to 8 right away unless it's like a coin box driver or like a me with plus skill or something. But when it comes to karts and gliders, I like to take things up to 7, 595, which I've done with this Royal Flush glider already because it looks absolutely amazing. I know Sammy's already taken his to level 8, 805. Let us know in the chat if you've already invested in this Royal Flush glider. Looks so cool, but how's this coverage look?
So kind of coverage is not that impressive. It looks great, and because it's a spotlight, I believe. Spotlight shop item. It's probably for the last tour. It's probably gonna end up pretty good, but only 2 ranked tracks. Athens-3 that you can use week 1, and then the level 8 unlock Sydney Sprint 3 RT. So 2 new tracks for ranked, but it's not 3 or 4. Again, I don't want to put too much weight on the starting coverage of usually the starting coverage of items has historically been quite determinative of the value of those items, or at least if you want to take an early gamble on them or not. I don't think that's necessarily relevant here anymore. I don't think we can point at any of these items and say, this one has a great start, this one has a bad start. I think we're in a different era right now. So, again, we can point out how many ranked tracks it got, if it got newer or older tracks, but I don't necessarily know how relevant that's going to be anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I love the look of it. We'll see what happens. It's, again, for all these new items, it's like, all right, you're getting these probably the toughest cities in the game, because they're all like the third, the newest. And we were taking
the most paywalled, yeah.
We were looking at some of the top shelves, and some of them had 7 or 8 top shelf total number of items on it, which is, if you think about some of the other tracks in the game, that's really, really thin compared to some of these other tracks. I mean, heck, look right here on all these tracks here. You look at all these. A lot of them have 7 or 8, but there are some situations where that's all it'll have forever. Meaning that there are some tracks the older tracks that have 20 items on the top shelf, whereas these might just have 7, 8, 9 forever, because we've seen it. And so far, the tendency is for them not to buff anything after the fact, after they've seen it so far. So let's go to another beautiful looking glider. Still not quite as beautiful as the Royal Flush, in my opinion, but the Rainbow Bells looks very, very cool. What's your thoughts on its starting coverage with 2 new tracks this release this tour?
I really like the way it looks as well. I like the Mega Mushroom skill. I know a lot of people don't, but I actually think it's a good skill. Yeah, again, kind of similar story. It's 10 starting tracks. It does have 3 ranked tracks. Madrid Drive 3 at level 1 that you can use in week 1. And Rome Avanti 3 is level 8 unlock that you can use in week 2. And Amsterdam Drift 3, again, also in week 2. So 2 of those are new tracks, and Amsterdam Drift 3 is a returning track. Yeah, we'll see. Again, there's not a lot to say about it, so we'll just say, hey, this is the ranked tracks, and let's move on.
Yeah, Matt Aldridge just makes a good point. He said, two big wins this tour is there's the end of things that we wanted to end, such as gold carts and more Miis. So both of those, we now know what the full cap is for all the Miis. We now know that there will not be any more gold carts. No. I think we were all looking forward to maybe one day a gold off-roader, but that will never happen. As far as
I'm okay without a gold off-roader.
You would. I personally would love a gold off-roader, but you know what? If I was given the choice between a gold off-roader or this Wiz Khalifa Mark II, man, I'm definitely very happy that they gave that.
I'm way happier with this. Yeah,
I'm with you. Let's talk about the very last gold glider, Gold Mario's hat balloon with Coin Plus.
Yeah, now this is a week 1 ranked reward, so you can't use it, you can't acquire it until the end of ranked week 1. So unfortunately, the New York Minute 3T that it gets at a level 3 unlock is not usable. However, you do have you can use it in one other ranked track, Amsterdam Drift 3 in week 2. It's got the coin skill. This is maybe gold gliders tend to do a bit better than the gold carts. So I don't think it being a gold glider is immediately roll your eyes and it's going to go away. And because it's a ranked reward in this tour, it's probably not going to be available. I would say there's a pretty decent chance that it's going to be a decent item. But I mean, I'm totally speculating here. Again, we're in totally new territory. I don't know. Starting with 10 tracks, which is just average, and effectively one ranked track. So I would say the start is kind of mid, but again, I keep harping on this, but I think we can't put a lot of stock into the starting tracks.
I'm with you there. We are going to move on, and that is the very final new item section of the rundown ever. Bittersweet, but There are no new more items. So we've hit the bucket list, man. We're only moving forward with buffs on the rundown until we get to a point where we have to reinvent it, which I'm actually really excited about reinventing the rundown. I'd love to continue giving that to you. I will say, I think based on looking at the battery on my computer, I think we have a hard stop at 6 o'clock. So we'll move forward. We won't get too much into the buffs because there's so much to talk about with the top 10 and some of those big changes. And Alberto did a great job of really reinventing those as well. Let's get into the Spotlight Shop. I'll kind of breeze through this, but one thing I was really, really pleasantly surprised about were the drivers. Usually the drivers are garbage. Usually they have like light blue Shy Guy Explorer and maybe a Toad Tourist or Toad Astronaut, and that's about it. But this one has a lot of good options. Obviously, we got Spartacong here, Ty Daisy, Volendam. We even have some classic ones such as Vacation Peach and Mario Sunshine for those who might have missed it on the first time around. You got Yaleen in there on the normal chance. You got some other really good items, but I think ultimately the Mii's are the Mii tax is over. You can start saving those rubies now. You can use those towards other things such as these drivers, but this is actually a pretty good selection. I wouldn't be too afraid to get it, a Spartacong or a Yaleen if you missed those newer ones. But then of course Daisy Tidress is especially if you're below tier 80, she's a must get. Moving to carts, there's a decent number of good carts here. They brought back some good ones. I think the overall though it's the gliders that get my attention. I think the gliders are all pretty star-studded and a lot of good options for you. I kind of reviewed some of these on the reaction, so based on time, we'll kind of skim through it. I think overall, though, there's some decent items on here. I think the gold boot pipes has a very unique track this week in ranked that you can go into. There's some other good options here. Some of I think the Desert Rose came back and brought back alongside Yaleen. You even got some of these red and pink comets that are back as well. So there's some pretty good options. Feel free to review that video if you want to learn more. And I'll be updating the toolbox with those stud logos here going forward, most likely later tonight. Let's get into the buffs. Starting with drivers, we got Toad Tourist, Spartacong, and Gold Diggler. All three of these got 5 buffs. So I think overall, this is it's kind of bittersweet because it's they're all city tours. But at this point in time, every buff, especially even newer city tours, will be nice to have. And I think ultimately, we're starting to see here some of these drivers are moving up in the algorithm. Toad Tourist. Obviously the highest of the 3 at number 13. It does have the ranked Athens-3. Spartacong getting the Rome Avanti 3 and ranked, and then Gold Diggler getting the New York Minute 3T. I think between those 3 ranked tracks, the New York Minute 3T is maybe not necessarily the one you were as excited about, but I believe that is a Coinbox exclusive. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but a pretty strong track for Gold Diggler. While you're looking that up, I'll move to drivers with 4 buffs, and then we'll circle back and get your opinion on these. But you have a number of them with 4 buffs, including King Mario. He got the Athens-3. He's got some Athens- tracks. That makes a lot of sense. He's actually number 10 on our list, which is pretty incredible. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to ever be in the top 10. Thinking back last year when he first came out and as the last gacha item in the game, he's got 27 assumed tracks to 25 cities. Again, he's got a lot of cities, but then he also has the Sydney Sprint 3RT. So a double feature in ranked, which is nice. So 2 out of the 4 in ranked. Much better compared to Poochie, who got 4 tracks, none of which are in ranked. He's got 37 assumed tracks and 11 cities, so substantially less cities. Number 14 on our list. Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer has been on a tear this summer. He gets Athens-3. Daisy Mii racing suit does get the Sydney Sprint 3RT. Kind of like right on the fringe of a plus skill Mii. I think it's certainly worth. She's been for ranked. She's been actually having a pretty good summer. Very, very sneaky for a Mii. Then we kind of get into some of the non-plus skill Mii and non-Mii drivers. And then we got Luigi Gold Knight getting the Sydney Sprint 3RT in ranked. You got to like that. And then Wiggler getting Sydney Sprint 3RT. So a number of these drivers getting Sydney Sprint 3RT. That one might be a little bit over cluttered with top skill drivers, but King Mario getting Athens-3 is phenomenal. And then a couple more I just want to mention, including Yaleen, who gets Rose Avanti 3. This Rosavanti 3, I think everyone's thinking about Gold Mario and how he is able to get those coins. And almost like the track is designed for him. However, let me just remind you that that section is actually better for boomeranging because you can not only can you get one circle, but you can also get the other circle, and then you can hit those fuzzy things that have a proper name in the Mario Kart Tour community that I'm not familiar with. Feel free to let me know what those are called. But I mean, fuzzies. There we go. All right, so it was that simple. You're talking about like 50 actions if you're getting a boomerang and getting those 2 coin circles and the fuzzies. So just keep that in the back of your mind. That's going to be much. So both her and Spartacon get that track, and that's going to be better than Gold Mario even. We do have the Wendy Me racing suit with Heart, nothing in ranked, and then Mario black suit and the light blue Me racing suit. So Antilev, with the drivers with 5 and 4 buffs, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so like normally I go through the buffs. I'm like, hey, these are valuable buffs, and these are not valuable. So I mean, there's a whole there's a lot of buffs this tour. Where's my sheet? I hid my sheet.
Did we break 500 again?
Oh my god, dude! Okay, the total number of buffs in this entire tour is. So we get a sheet with all the data. So including all the new items and all the mid shelves, there were 1,941 additions to the data.
Wow. 1,900.
So just under 2,000.
That's insane.
This is by far the most buffs we've ever had. It's crazy. And so if you take the mid shelves out and you take the new items out there, I think we have 834. Oh no, that's including the new items level 1, but it's around 800 buffs. It's crazy. I mean, but we have 14 new tracks, so it's not that much of a surprise. And we have the most items we've ever had in the game, obviously. So it's not really a surprise, but the actual value of the buffs and the quality of the buffs. I mean, so what I normally do is I look at, hey, which items got multiple ranked buffs. Returning items, I made pivot tables, I filtered everything out. There's only 2 items in the entire game that got buffed on 2 ranked tracks, and that's even including the returning ones, Amsterdam Drift 3 and New York Minute 3. That's Luigi Gold Knight with 2 buffs and Mario King with 2 buffs, and that's it. And aside from those 2, and Mario King got back up into the top 10, which is great for him. And Luigi Gold Knight is kind of floundering down there. But aside from that, there's not really a whole lot to say about the buffs in general. They're really, really spread out, and there's a lot of different items got buffed, and they're all cities, and we don't know how that's going to work out in the future. So I don't really have a lot to say, so I'll just let you continue.
All right. Yeah, I'll probably skim through the rest of them, but Larry Me racing suits, nothing in ranked, but he is number 4 on our list, getting 3 buffs. I think when you look at these, Toad Astronaut got 3 buffs, Santa Me racing suit got 3 buffs. It doesn't look like any of them got any ranked buffs, which is kind of interesting. And then, Wiggler Me Racing Suit did get the Romavanti 3, which is a ranked track. You got to like that. Morton doesn't get any ranked tracks, but certainly 3 cities there. Then for drivers with 2 buffs, the question block gets to Athens-3R and Berlin Byways 3RT, but nothing in ranked. Daisy Tigers does get an awesome ranked track, the Madrid Drive 3. Really good track as it's a Coinbox exclusive for her. So, and really, there's not a lot of plus skill Miis on that track either. Larry Wintertime got 2 tracks, but nothing in ranked. And the Piranha Plant Sloop, probably one of the better non-skill plus skill Miis, did get the ranked Amsterdam Drift 3. That's really all I'm going to really kind of focus in on there. The Pink Try Guy Ninja did get the Athens Dash 3. But I want to, certainly get past this because we got a lot to talk about for the top 10. And then for drivers with 1 buff, of course, Mr. Efficiency, Gold Me Racing Suit, got Athens Dash 3, which of course it's in ranked. It's just how he rolls, man. Gold Charging Chuck, in kind of the same vein, got the Romavanti 3, 1 buff. It's in ranked. As you can see, that's number 1 and number 2 driver in the game to this date. We also have Peter Piranha Gold, which did get 1 buff, but is not in ranked, which has kind of been how they've been treating him most of the year. But you even have Meowser getting a track in there and some others. Not all of them in ranked necessarily, but it's nice to see some like basically every item in the game getting some kind of buff. As you can see, these slides, which will be up in Reddit by the end of the day. So many buffs, thousands of buffs, which is absolutely insane. Let's move to carts. We got the Black Jingle Bell, Chain Chomp Chariot, and Wild Wiggler getting 5 buffs each. Unfortunately, out of those 15 total buffs, only one of them is in ranked, and that's the Chain Chomp Chariot getting Rome Avanti 3. For carts with 4 buffs, Taiko Drum Dasher, the Rich Get Richer here. As you see, it's number 9 on our in the algorithm. Got the Rome Avanti 3. Red Comet got the Madrid Drift 3. Madrid Drift 3. And then, nothing really much to discuss. Sakura Sports Coupe did get the Amsterdam Drift 3. And then, of course, the Shield Speedsters each got a ranked track. The Gold got Madrid Drive 3. And the Black Shield Speedster got the Rome Avanti 3. My Pink Comet did get the Amsterdam Drift 3. And Green Comet got the Sydney Sprint 3 RT. That's probably all I'll really mention there. Gold Pipes did get the Athens Dash 3, which some people have been investing in because it's a pretty rough one to cover for ranked. And that's all I'll get to there. Moving to carts with 3 buffs, we got Blooper Shuttle getting 3 buffs, not any in rank though. Same with the Blue Crawley cart. So these are, fortunately, the rich do not get richer. These are some of our meta carts that a lot of people invested in, hoping to use it in ranked, but it's not there. Rainbow Streetle not in ranked either. Silver Cubitero, arguably the top cart with 3 buffs with 1 in ranked, and that's for Rome Avanti 3. Nice big win there for it. Rainbow Pipe Buggy, number 15 on our list, and it has nothing in ranked. Jumbo Jetter did get the Madrid Drive 3 as well. Moving along, the Boo Pipes, nothing. I know a lot of people invested in that pretty early. Nothing in ranked, but got those 3 buffs. It's still at number 62 on our list, even though it's despite it being a fan favorite. One card, I don't want to spill too much of it or steal any of the thunder, but Swift Town, the Taylor Swift it broke our top 10. It went up quite a lot this tour. 27 assumed tracks, 23 cities. Did get the Athens Dash 3. Leading the pack of the carts with 2 buffs. Camo Tuniki cart outside of the top 10 did get 2 non-ranked buffs. Gold Lunar Cruiser, Armored Rider, Bright Girl, Streetle, Wild Gold, Gold Ramby Runner, and all those got 2 buffs. Nothing in ranked though. You don't really get to talk about in ranked. So you got the Sky Blue, B Dasher Mark II, got the Sydney Sprint 3 RT, which it seems to be kind of a track that you may not have a hard time covering. Then we'll get into carts with 1 buff. Blazing Eagle got the Madrid Drive 3T. Rainbow Taxi, that's been our top 10 for a while. It has fallen outside the top 10, but it does have Madrid Drive 3, a ranked track. Then when we're looking at ranked just in and of itself, nothing really to talk about. So we got the Silver King, which is nice to be using again on Rome Avanti 3. And that's probably where we'll drive the line. Again, these slides will all be on Reddit by the end of the day if you want to take a look at more. Anything you want to mention there on carts, Antilev?
Nope.
All right, let's get to gliders. Gliders, a lot more spread out buffs. It looks like between some of the highest quantity, which makes sense because we have less gliders than we do carts. But we have a total of 6 gliders with 5 buffs. We'll start with Red Emblem getting the New York Minute 3T, Gold Origami Glider. Much like the other gold items in the game, nothing really useful in the way of looking at ranked. Your Mosaic Starshoot did get the Athens Dash 3, slowly getting some attention as it's number 63 on our list. We got the Jelly Shoot getting the Sydney Sprint 3 RT. Luigi Hat, Golf Cap getting Rome Avanti 3. Spooky Sprinkle Balloons, a fan favorite early, get the Amsterdam Drift 3. But that is all. We'll see if it has a very fun fall ahead of us. For guys with 4 buffs, Yellow Hard Hat at the top of this list as the number 1 glider in the game. Unfortunately, nothing in ranked, which is okay. It's obviously been really strong in the meta. Same thing with the 8-bit Super Glider. Did get the Madrid Drive 3, though. Number 2 on our list. We got the 8-bit Block Glider. Got the Rome Avanti 3. Gold 8-bit Glider. Did get the Athens Dash 3. Wonderful Diamond. Nothing in ranked of those 4 buffs. Golden Glider did get the Amsterdam Drift 3. Gold Boo masks, 4 buffs, nothing in ranked. I know a lot of people have been liking it, but it is now outside of our top 20. And then Red Checkered Glider did get the City Sprint 3RT. Moving to gliders with 3 buffs. Then Abbott Parachute got the Madrid Drive 3. Your Fuzzy Kites, nothing in ranked of those 3 buffs, but it is still in the top 15. Yoshi's Cookies has fallen outside of the top 15. Nothing in ranked there of its 3 buffs. 8-Bit Goomba, it's actually a pretty good buff there with the Athens Dash 3 being in ranked. It's a really tough track to cover. And then gliders with 2 buffs. Some of the highlights include, Gold Hard Hat, Secure Origami Glider, 8-Bit Super Mushroom, and the Record Setter. None of those get a ranked buff. So although they got the highest ranked of the gliders with 2 buffs, nothing in ranked. In fact, of the gliders with 2 buffs, nothing is in ranked until Mario's Mustache at number 53 on our list. So we'll kind of keep going through. I will say 8-Bit Bullet Bill, a really strong meta glider, got the Romavanti 3, and then the 8-Bit Fireflower getting the Madrid Drive 3. So getting some old school love from those old school 8-Bit gliders. 8-Bit just seems to be ruling the world. For gliders with 1 buffs, the top highlight here is the wonderful Garnet. Very efficient Romavanti 3 ranked buff. And then as we kind of go down the list, nothing's in ranked until we get to Red and Gold Umbrella, getting the Madrid Drive 3, number 39 on our list. Mario's Mustache got Athens Dash 3. Secret Skull got Athens Dash 3 as well. And Oil Paper Umbrella also got Athens Dash 3. Well, there you go. That kind of wraps up most of the glider buffs. Anything you want to mention there, Antilev? Sorry, bad time.
No, but it's fine. We can move on and we can discuss exactly, because a lot of the changes in the rankings are not as much due to the buffs as they are due to the changes in the model. Yeah.
Let's get to the model change. I know this slide isn't fully updated, but it's more of a placemat for us.
Right, but this can tell you where we were coming from. So if you see all the variables here, especially the middle column, those are the sort of bonuses we give to items based on, and tracks based on, hey, like the paywall ratio, how difficult is it to cover this track? The less top shelf items it has, the more it's worth. That 1.3 means it's a 30% bonus for the most paywall tracks versus the least paywall tracks. For the newest items, we had previously a 20% bonus. For the newest tracks, a 20% bonus. For the biggest carts, we have a 20% bonus. So the whole point of the algorithm and the formula that we use to calculate the rankings is to give an assessment of the value of all of the tracks that an item has currently, but it's also to weight those in such a way that it has some predictive power to kind of, hey, what is most correlated with the chances that a certain item will get buffed in the future, or a certain track will be ranked in the future. So in the past, we've seen, the newer the track is, the more likely it comes back, the more likely it is that it's in ranked. The newer the item is, the more likely it gets buffed on new tracks, the more likely it gets buffed on new ranked tracks, especially. Since we're not having those new tracks and new items anymore, I think we kind of sort of decided that, an item being newer, a track being newer is going to be less of a bonus now. I think we're going to be getting more of an even distribution of the tracks. We're going to be seeing the older tracks more often. So we lowered the bonus for item newness, for track newness. The item newness is down from 20% down to 15%. The track newness is down from 20% bonus to 10% bonus. And that will probably go eventually to 0, but I'm not a big fan of making huge sweeping changes that shake up the rankings all at once. Beyond that, so I already talked about the track type weightings, that cities are worth a lot more than they used to be. I won't repeat all of that, but again, the most important thing is based on the data, we expect that any given retro or nitro track has about 1.5 times the chance to appear in a tour compared to any random city. Conversely, any random city has about 2/3 chance to appear as a retro or nitro. So we've sort of updated the weightings to reflect that, not fully, but cities are worth about half the weight of retros and nitros now. Third, weighted course value. This is Tabor's old Tabor's old variable for the likelihood that a certain track type will be in ranked. So, you see a lot of RTs in ranked. So RTs have the highest weight in weight course value. Now, this was down to 25%, and it's been even as low as 0 because we've been having so many new tracks in ranked. It's been kind of irrelevant what the type of track is. Again, going back to the whole idea of we don't have it's a total gamble, total crapshoot for new tracks. But now that we're not going to have new tracks anymore, I put it up to 100% because, that is going to be relevant. We're going to, if they follow the similar pattern, we're going to get RTs coming back more often, and we're going to get cities coming back more often. So the type of track for ranked also matters a lot more now. And then finally, the me bonus we've set at a final value of 25%. That means every me suit has a blanket 25% bonus to their total raw score. We're still maybe going to edge that up in the future because there's a lot of people. That's not based on assuming you have all me suits, all 65 me suits, which give you a 640 base point advantage over a regular driver. But in the future, maybe if you are a GPO or free to play, you will get more me suits. And if the player base says, hey, we think this should be worth more, then maybe we will raise it in the future. But for right now, 25% I think is a good bonus. So what is the final impact of all of these changes? Okay, so the items that you will see increase in the rankings are older items will increase in rankings because new tracks, new items don't have that bonus anymore. Items with heavy city coverage because cities are worth more. So like the example you were saying, Swift Talon, all cities start, heavy cities, and you see it jump up. Items with a lot of RTs will get a boost in the ranking because RTs are the most common rank track, and me suits finally. So those are things. Older items, city items, items with a lot of RTs, and me suits are basically the things that you see going up, and opposite items to those are probably going to go down. One other thing, we give credit for exclusives. Previously, we did not give credit for exclusives on city tracks. I still didn't add that in. That is going to be something we need to wait and see on in the tours coming. I may add that later, but I haven't done it yet. But that's basically it. So let's get over to the rankings.
All right, let's get to the rankings. Thank you for explaining that. So a lot of people ask, how are we going to change as we get into this end game? Well, there you go. That was your answer. You may not want to be laying in bed when you hear that, or else you might fall asleep. But for those of us who are still awake, let's get into the top 10. For the first time, we're talking about King Mario. He went up 3 spots to number 10. He's got 27 assumed tracks, 25 cities. He's seen every track in the game. And again, he was released literally a year ago, and he's seen every single track in the game. That just shows you how efficient Nintendo's been to be very fair and show us every track in the game. And I do think that will happen every single year, which is great because that allows us to be able to say, all right, so we know we're going to see the Dino Jungle. We're also going to see, a Sky Garden and some of these 2022 tracks.
So just a quick interruption here.
Yeah.
When we say 0 tracks to see, that's 0 assumed tracks left to see. That's not counting cities. There are a few cities which we haven't, a couple of RTs, which we haven't seen in the past year. So just to clarify that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the clarification. That is helpful. So what does this mean? I always like to be able to explain these pages when we first get to it for the first time. In case we have a new viewer, if you are watching with the rundown, the very first rundown you've ever seen, let us know in the chat. We'd love to welcome you as a community. We all absolutely love new people, and we're all here to help. So number 10 is obviously the number of the item, and the up or down, either green or red, followed by a number, just shows how much it went up since last tour. Went up 3 spots. Obviously, a lot of changes to the algorithm, which probably helped him a lot, which helped him go up those 3. 27 assumed tracks. So assumed tracks are the tracks that are not cities. Basically, anything that's not a city, including Nitro, Retro, etc. Those are all bundled in assumed. So again, we kind of talked about it earlier, slightly higher rates than a city track. So it's good to know that. 0 tracks left to see. When an item sees a track, it either gets it or it doesn't. And Nintendo's never given them a track after it's seen it for the first time. So those are the assumptions we're working off of. To go down, these just show the top skill drivers. So any type of tracks where he just has 3 drivers, there might be other drivers, and there definitely is more drivers on these tracks. But we just want to show you which ones matter, which are the plus skills. And for someone like King Mario, he's got the best skill in the game. So you might want to look to see if you're going into the Mii meta, for a good example, this Choco Mountain R, DK Mii Racing suit is great for that track, but it's Giant Banana, it's a Mii. You probably would want to use him, all levels equal, to a King Mario, but not everyone has invested in the Mii suit, so you're going to have to take that into consideration for your account. Basically, everything on this entire page is giving you some insight as to what you would find out if you were to fill out one of the great spreadsheets we have, some of the trackers that we have. Bam and Gerbs, Antilev has one as well. But really, a lot of this information you'll find there. But this gives, this probably helps everyone as much as we possibly can without filling us out a sheet. We'd highly recommend you filling out your own sheet. So you can see all of his tracks on the right. You can see all the plus skills. There's plenty of tracks such as like this Rainbow Road RT or the Bowser's Castle 1R, this remix, where there's plenty of plus skills and they're almost kind of like dead tracks for him. But there's a couple exclusives, as you see here. This Shroom Ridge R. He's the only top skill driver, Mii suit or non-Mii suit. So a great one for him. Great to look at. Great to spend more time just reviewing it. It's going to hopefully help you out. Next, moving to top skill pairing. So this leverages a Turtle Dude's coverage optimizer, where you plug in one item and you say, I want to see what other 3 items covers the most tracks. You can turn off cities or turn them on. You can do a lot of cool things with the tracker. Now you can even say, all right, well, if I add this one, then what? What if I add this, then what? And so it kind of goes through these if-then statements. But if you were to plug in King Mario and say, I want 3 other drivers to cover as many of the tracks as possible, of the 332 assumed tracks, this pairing of Mario Samurai, Daisy Tie Dress, and Gold Charging Chuck would cover 117 of those 332 tracks, which those 3 drivers, in addition to him, would add 92 tracks to his 27 assumed tracks and 25 cities. So it's really helpful for you to know, hey, I got King Mario, got him at level 8. Who else should I get to cover as much tracks? This is really helpful for newer players. Moving down below, this is probably my favorite, is the top skill overlap. Why is this important? Essentially, if you're investing into King Mario, you may not want to invest in PD Piranha or White Tanuki Mario, who have 5 overlaps with his 27 assumed tracks. For that sake, 5 out of 27 is not the end of the world. But in this case, you're probably still going to use King Mario over those 2 drivers. Now, where you run into some trouble is maybe Gold Charging Chuck. He has only 4 overlaps, but all 4 of those, all things equal, you want to be using Gold Charging Chuck because of his large hitbox. And then Larry Mii suit, obviously you're going to want to use him if you've invested in the Miis as his base points. And even in many cases, the action count ceiling would be higher too. So all things equal, I think King Mario, he's got a good future ahead of him. I think he might, as we end up things, now that we are taking cities a little bit more valuable, I think he's got a bright future in front of him. Larry Wintertime, number 9, down 2 spots, 40 assumed tracks, 16 cities. 4 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 123 of the 332 tracks, adding 89. It does overlap 7 times with PD Piranha and Chef Rosalina, 6 times with Daisy Tie Dress, 5 times with Gold PD Piranha and the Santa Mii Racing suit. At number 8, we have Toad Astronaut. He's had a great summer. Number 8, still from last tour, 38 assumed tracks, 15 cities, 4 tracks left to see. His pairing covers 124 of the 332 tracks. He overlaps 6 times with Poochie and Wiggler and Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer, 3 basically brand new drivers that came out very similar timeline to Toad Astronaut. 5 times with the Wiggler Mii suit and Toad Tourist. 4 times with Morton and Question Block Mii Racing suit. At number 7, we have the yellow Mii Racing suit. Still from last tour, 23 assumed tracks, 15 cities, 0 tracks left to see. His pairing covers 113 of the 332 tracks. He has 4 overlaps with Daisy Tie Dress, Toad Astronaut, and Spartacon. Now, 4 isn't a lot, but for a Mii suit, with 23 tracks, it's worth making a note of. And it does overlap 5 times with Poochie, which is certainly a newer driver there. At number 6, we have Daisy Tie Dress. 38 assumed tracks, 21 cities, 0 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 125 of the 332 tracks. It does overlap 8 times with the Gold Me Racing Suit, which is very important to remember. If you are below tier 80, you want to get Daisy Tie Dress. She will be almost like a Gold Me Suit light. But if you are over tier 80, you're a whale or been playing since day one, she may not be as valuable for her. Kangaroo Yoshi does overlap 6 times. At number 5, we have PD Piranha Gold. He went down 1 spot from last tour. 37 assumed tracks, 17 cities. It does have this great pairing, 2 different sets that cover 123 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with Pink Shy Guy Explorer and Gold Yoshi Gold Something, and 6 times with PD Piranha. At number 4, we have the Larry Me Suit. 26 assumed tracks, 9 cities, 84 tracks left to see. So he's still got some tracks to see. Got a decent number of coverage already, which for a Me Suit. This pairing covers 115 of the 332 tracks. And it's been quite a common pairing anyway for those who are keeping track. Does overlap 5 times with Luigi Knight, the regular, the boomerang skill one, and PD Piranha. So you see there are a lot of boomerang skill overlap between those 3 drivers. He does overlap 4 times with Toad Taurus, Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer, and King Mario. At number 3, we got the Question Block Me Racing Suit, 29 assumed tracks, 11 cities. We have 2 spots this tour. Has seen every track. This pairing covers 117 of the 332 tracks. Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer and PD Piranha overlap 6 times, and regular PD Piranha Suit overlapping 5. Finally, the last 2. No surprise here. We have basically the best non-plus skill driver in the game. I'm sorry, non-me driver of the game, and then the best driver in the game, respectfully. For Gold Charging Chuck, his pairing covers 125 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap with Gold Yoshi Gold Something, Luigi Knight, and the regular Charging Chuck 6 times. 5 times with Santa Me and Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer. At number 1, we have the Gold Me Racing Suit. These 2 pairings cover 121 of the 332 tracks. You see there Gold PD Piranha in there. Haven't seen much of him in these pairings. As we talked about, 8 overlaps with Daisy Tie Dress, 7 with Gold Yoshi Gold Something. They came out in a very similar time period, and Peach Happy. So there you go. That's our top 10. To round out the top 15, we have PD Piranha Me Racing Suit at 11, Santa Me Racing Suit at 12, Toad Taurus at 13, Poochie at 14, Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer at 15. Ansel, what's your thoughts? You're on mute.
I'm on mute. I'm sorry. I just realized that. So okay, actually not a lot of movement in the top 10. You can see Gold Me Racing Suit just even. I mean, if you look at the Charging Chuck, the value, he stays in second, but the value went down 6.68. So just Gold Me Racing Suit is leaving everyone else in the dust. Like you said before, the Mii's all got boosts. So you see the Question Block Me Racing Suit, Yellow Me Racing Suit going up. In the top 15, you got Santa Me Racing Suit, PD Piranha Me Racing Suit, raising in value even if they don't raise in place. Mario King with his heavy city coverage makes sense that he got into the top 10. Again, like I said before, the changes to the model are driving the changes here more than anything else. But other than that, there's not a lot to say. We know what the best drivers in the game are, and maybe the ones from 6 down to 15 or 25 are going to kind of shuffle around, but the top 5 are going to be pretty much there, and especially now that we're not getting new tracks and we're not going to like if Meowser, if this would have happened last year, Meowser probably would have stayed in the top 5 eternally, but because he's not, and we'll see. I mean, but I think you're not going to get that much of a shakeup in the rankings, but we'll see how we go, especially for the drivers because it's so skill dependent and me suit dependent. I think it's not much of a surprise what we are seeing. Even with all the changes in the models, there is not that much change at the top.
Okay. Looking at my battery, and I don't think we're gonna get to 6 o'clock. So we're gonna go into
let's race
hyper mode. Red Comet up 3 spots at number 10. 30 assumed tracks, 12 cities, 116 tracks up to see. Does overlap with 6 times with these 4 carts, which is quite interesting, seeing as it's a new cart. At number 9, Tyco Drum Dasher up 2 spots, 33 assumed tracks, 15 cities, 40 tracks left to see, which is still a decent amount. Does overlap 6 times with the Gold Comet. Interesting. That's a new one we've seen there. The Taylor Swift up 5 spots to number 8, 27 assumed tracks, 23 cities. Seen every track in the game. Overlaps 7 times with the Streetle, 6 times with the Jumbo Jetter, and the Rainbow Streetle. Both, I would much rather use the Taylor Swift when it comes to that hitbox than some of those Streetles. At number 7, up 1 spot, Silver Cupid's Arrow, 25 assumed tracks, 13 cities, a whopping 148 tracks left to see. This is one I definitely would recommend investing in as we get these tracks being brought in. Yeah, they might be lower value, but 148 tracks left to see is very promising. It does overlap 5 times with the Moo Off-Roader and the the Boo Pipes, which, some of these carts are some of the meta favorites as they're very large in size, but again, kind of pick your favorite and roll with it. At number 6, we have the Rainbow Streetle down 1 spot. We have 34 assumed tracks, 15 cities, 24 tracks left to see. It does overlap 7 times with the Rainbow Taxi and the Blooper Shuttle, 6 times with the Jumbo Jetter and Tyco Drum Dasher. Pink Speeder at number 5, up 1 spot, 35 assumed tracks, 16 cities, 4 tracks left to see. Does overlap 7 times with the Red Off-Roader, 6 times with the Moo Off-Roader and the Red Comet, 5 times with the Blazing Eagle and the Silver Cupid's Arrow. Honestly, all 5 of those carts are great. That is bad news for the Pink Speeder. And 7's a lot. 7 and 6, that's a decent amount. At number 4, Blue Crawley Cart. Hold down a spot from last tour. 36 assumed tracks, 9 cities, 20 tracks left to see. Does overlap 8 times with the Armored Rider and 7 times with the Shielded Speedster. At number 3, Moo Off-Roader. 36 tracks of assumed tracks, 12 cities, 0 tracks left to see. Does overlap 5 times with the Warrior Wagon, Rainbow Streetle, and Gold Shield Speedster, 4 times with the Black Shield Speedster. At number 2, Blazing Eagle, up 1 spot to 30 with 33 assumed tracks, 21 cities, 0 tracks left to see. Those overlap 5 times with the Gold Shield Speedster and the Red Off-Roader, and the Boo Pipes, 5 times with Blooper Shuttle. These are some meta level items. Blooper Shuttle at number one cart in the game, 40 assumed tracks, 12 cities, 4 tracks left to see. Those overlap 7 times with the Rainbow Taxi, 6 times with Blazing Eagle, 5 times with the Tyco Drum Dasher and the Armored Rider. So to round out the top 15, we have the Secure Sports Coupe at 11, Camo Tanuki Cart at 12, Rainbow Taxi at 13, Gold Lunar Cruiser at 14, and Rainbow Pipe Buggy at 15. Antilev, what's your thoughts? You are on mute again.
Sorry, I'm trying to not breathe too heavy while you're okay. So the most extreme example of the change in the model is the Swift Talon, 27 non-city tracks, assumed tracks, but it has 23 cities. So if we look at the number of total tracks in the game, so 27 non-cities is kind of pedestrian when we talk about carts, because you've got carts with 40 tracks, 40 non-city tracks. But when we look at overall number of tracks, the Blazing Eagle has 54 tracks with everything unlocked. So the Swift Talon has actually 50 tracks, has 23 cities. So that's why it jumps up so much, because those cities all of a sudden have a lot more value. Now, they're not exactly as valuable as a retro, but they're getting closer, and I think they will increase into the future. So again, you look at a lot of the items that went up here, a lot of them have a lot. Blazing Eagle has a lot of cities. Speeder has a lot of cities. Tyco Drum Dasher has a lot of cities. Going down into the top 15. Camo Tanuki Cart has a deep amount of cities. Gold Lunar Cruiser also. All of them made jumps up. So I think that's really the thing that's driving things here, is the fact that cities, we really have to consider cities as more valuable as they were before.
Good point there. Battery checks at 11%, so we can get through this. We'll be good. Going into the gliders, Festive Holly at number 10 went up 3 spots. It's back in the top 10. It was out for a little bit there, but it is back. 36 assumed tracks, 15 cities, 4 tracks left to see. Does overlap though 9 times with the 8-bit Super Glider, 8 times with the Wonderful Diamond, 7 times with the Boo Masks, and 6 with the Calico Toby Balloons, 5 with the Black Starchute. Speaking of the Black Starchute, it is at number 9, up 3 spots, back in the top 10. 38 assumed tracks, 11 cities, 0 tracks left to see. Does overlap 10 times with the Boo Masks. Again, you might want to pick one of those two as your ride or die, but maybe not both. At number 8, we have the Sakura Origami Glider, up 1 spot, 39 assumed tracks, 14 cities, 0 tracks left to see. Does have 7 overlap with the 8-bit Super Glider, arguably one of the best gliders in the game. 6 with the Pink Checker Glider and the Black Starchute. We have at number 7, the gold 8-bit glider, 36 assumed tracks, 14 cities, still 32 tracks left to see. Those overlap 7 times with the wonderful diamond and yellow hard hat. That's kind of alarming. At number 6, we have the 8-bit block glider, 36 assumed tracks, 13 cities, 32 tracks left to see. So it overlaps 7 times with the autumn leaves and the fire manta, 6 times with the Nabbit parachute and the red checker glider. At number 5, Nabbit parachute, 38 assumed tracks, 14 cities, 24 tracks left to see. It does overlap 8 times with the wonderful garnet. Seems to be kind of a trend these last few gliders. The block glider and the Goomba, 6 overlaps. At number 4, we have the gold hard hat up 1 spot, 39 assumed tracks, 13 cities, 4 tracks left to see. Those overlap 7 times with the fire manta glider, 6 with the fuzzy kite and golden glider. At number 3, we have wonderful garnet, 40 down 1 spot, 40 assumed tracks, 14 cities, 4 tracks left to see. It does overlap 9 times with the Parapanini, 8 times with the Nabbit parachute and the 8-bit super mushroom. At number 2, we have 8-bit super glider. We just kind of talked a lot about it just here recently. 41 assumed tracks, 12 cities, still 32 tracks left to see, which is really good for the number 2 glider in the game. Those overlap 9 times with the Super Bros parachute and the wonderful diamond and the festive holly. Worth noting there. And then at number 1, up 2 spots, the yellow hard hat is back. 37 assumed tracks, 18 cities, 4 tracks left to see. This pair actually, ironically, overlaps 8 times already with the Mosaic Star Shoot. Kind of interesting there. And then a number of gliders with 7 overlaps. To round out the top 15, we have the wonderful Diamond at 11, Golden Glider at 12, Fuzzy Kite at 13, Autumn Leaves at 14, Calico Tobian's Balloons at 15. Doing a battery check, 7%. Again, when I got here, the reason we were so late is because I was looking for my charger. Could not find it after returning home. So, Antilev, anything you want to say about the gliders? You're on mute.
Fuzzy Kite finally in the top 15.
Hey!
I think the main thing we need to look at here is the yellow hard hat balloon. This is because it has 18 cities, but also because it got 4 buffs, which is crazy. So yeah, nothing strange here. Festive Holly again, an all city start, so not a surprise that it jumps up into the top 10. I think Autumn Leaves, Calico Tobian balloons also. Autumn Leaves and Golden Glider also rising up in the rankings due to their heavy city coverage. Not really a whole lot to say. I think this is a pretty accurate representation of what is meta right now, and we'll see how it goes towards the future. I think in the future we'll see some older gliders rise and some newer ones fall because we won't put as much emphasis on the newer items anymore, but we'll see.
I'm with you, man. This is, I think for gliders, it's pretty consensus. These are some really, really good items for sure. Other top movers and shakers, the Waluigi Misu does go up 26 spots to 44. The Wiggler Misu goes up 23 spots to 29. The Blue May Racing Suit went up 13 spots to 31. For carts, there's actually not much that drop. Nothing jumps into the top 50 except for the Boo Pipes, goes up 29 spots to 45. That one is, some people might be worth investing in. For gliders, Golden Glider goes up 20 spots to number 14. That's a huge jump and inside the top 20, which is amazing. Then Flying Flappers went up 24 spots to 45. That's a pretty notable jump. For ranked, there's not a lot of major changes because these are city tracks. There's not a lot of items that are unlocked at high levels. You do have Gold Monarch Card at level 6, unlocked on Athens Dash 3. You have the New York Minute 3T, the Blazing Eagle at level 3, which is very easy to take up. Gold Mario's Hat Balloon at level 3, which we can't even get until after week 1 anyway. Madrid Drive 3, Monarch Cart at level 8. So that's a lot. It's a high level to use it, but that's just good to know. Nothing on Amsterdam Drift 3. For Sydney Sprint 3 RT, Gold Mario at level 8. That actually might be plausible. You might want to already take that to level 8. The Black Beat Archer Mark 2, we talked about that, getting that track at level 8. Which is really, really, might be something I take up. We'll see what happens. The Royal Flush gets that at level 8. Romavanti 3, Gold Monarch Card at level 8. Rainbow Bells at level 8. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead. I do want to cover the meat coverage because I got a text from Raker. So to discuss this, definitely take a look at this on Reddit. But the Plus Skill meat, Gold and Larry both have 6 tracks. Gold has 1 in ranked. Larry overlaps 1 time with Question Block on the Double Me boosted track with both gold and question block. As for the non-plus Miis, it's a bad tour for non-plus Miis. Accounting for overlaps with the plus Miis, the most tracks one non-Mii has only has 3. That's the Peach Mii. And 2 of the 3 tracks there are Coinbox non-Mii drivers. So not great for the non-plus Miis for All Cup ranking, etc. And then for new tracks, Madrid 3 is tough. The only plus skill Miis on one variant. Athens 3 and Rome 3 are very friendly with plus skill Miis on 3 of the 4 variants. Thank you, Raker. Feel free to take a look at 1 and 2 on Reddit. And then last but not least, we have All Cup ranking. So Gold Mario, no surprise, used 3 times in ranked. Mario King used twice. Gold Luigi Knight twice. So these are really the 3 featured drivers. Anyway, for cards, you got Gold Mario who used 4 times, which is insane. Black B Mark 3 used 3 times as well. Monarch used 3 times. Capsule Kart 2 and Chocolate Minibus 2. Gold B Mark 2. And then, Gold Mario Dasher twice. Gliders, Rainbow Bells 3 times, Gold Mario's Hat twice, and Royal Flush twice. So there you go, guys. Again, not a lot of options there for multiple use, except for the ones that are used multiple times are used a lot. We're talking 4 times, even with a cart, which is insane. And we are, for the battery check, we're at 2%. So thank you for joining us. If we have about 73 people who are here at the very end, if you can, please leave a like, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about this tour. Let us know what you think about the upcoming changes as we hit the end game. And then, Antilev, what would you like to say to your fans as we wrap up?
I want to thank everybody who came to my streams and supported me in my top 10 run.
Yeah, top 10. Congratulations.
Last tour. I completely forgot about it till now. I didn't even know. I wasn't even really trying that hard until the last week.
What did you finish at? What number?
Great. Yeah.
What number did you finish at?
7th.
Yeah. Lucky 7, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
Great job.
Thank you.
It was fun watching the few times I was able to jump in the stream. But I know you grinded your butt off. How many hours do you think you spent again? I forget.
I checked the thing and it was over 99.9, but I definitely spent at least 30 hours just doing tokens because I did them a lot on auto clicker and left it overnight. So I don't really, I probably somewhere like 80, 90 hours, I think, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Antilev. Happy birthday, Thanks. Alberto. Thank you all to the Stud fam for hanging out with us for 2 hours talking about Mario Kart Tour. This is not the last episode of the rundown, but this is the last of the new items. We'll have to reinvent ourselves, but I'm not scared of that. We've done it many times in the past, and you guys have all have been very supportive. So we just, as long as you guys are supportive, we'll keep it coming. I think that there'll be plenty of new people that enter this game, and they'll be wondering, hey, and I think a lot of people were because we've been kind of chasing new items, we actually haven't even thought about the possibility of there being like a maxed account or, having all tracks maxed out. But once we have that set in stone, man, I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be fun to see what type of items you can stack together to get to that maximum coverage. And I think at the end of the day, this game, we get to play it forever, or at least it's, for another couple of years. And that's all that we care about is like opening the game, getting the frenzies, getting the combos, getting the rubies for ranked. And they did a great job of bringing in some new ranked rewards